Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 7th, 2022 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Pangong Langayate Girim Shri Gurum Dinatarina Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, today we will continue with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's chapter is entitled Poet Reads His Poetry about Lord Chaitanya to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Under the section How Pradyumna Mishra received instruction from Ramananda Rai.
পূর্ববঙ্গবাসী বিপ্রবেশী প্রাকৃত কবি বৃত্তান্ত। বঙ্গদেশী এক বিপ্র প্রভুর চরিতে নাটক করি লইয়া আইলা শোনাইতে।
A Brahmana from Bengal wrote a drama about the characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and came with his manuscript to induce the Lord to hear it.
Lord Chaitanya would not hear any writings unless it was cleared by Swarup Damodar Goswami.
Lord Chaitanya would not hear any writings unless it is cleared by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 5.92.
ভগবান আচার্য শোনে তার পরিচয়, তারে মিলি তার ঘরে করিল আলয়।
The Brahmana was acquainted with Bhagavan Acharya, one of the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, after meeting him at Jagannath Puri, the Brahmana made his residence at Bhagavan Acharya's home. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 5.93.
প্রথমে নাটকেতে হো তারে শুনাইল, তার সঙ্গে অনেক বৈষ্ণব নাটক শুনিল।
First, the Brahmana induced Bhagavan Acharya to hear the drama, and then many other devotees joined Bhagavan Acharya in listening to it. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 5.94.
সবেই প্রশংসে নাটক পরম উত্তম, মহাপ্রভুরে শুনাইতে সবার হইল মন।
All the Vaishnavas praised the drama, saying, Very good, very good. They also desired that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hear the drama. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 5.55.
স্বরূপ দামোদর কর্তৃক পরীক্ষা গ্রহণ নিয়ম। গীত শ্লোক গ্রন্থ কবিত্ব যেই করিয়ানে, প্রথমে শুনায় সেই স্বরূপের স্থানে।
Customarily, anyone who composed a song, verse, literary composition, or poem about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first had to bring it to Swarup Damodar Goswami to be heard.
It was very painful for Lord Chaitanya if anything wrong was written in the manuscript.
It was very painful to Lord Chaitanya if anything wrong was written in the manuscript.
But he wanted to Damodar Goswami.
So he wanted
Yeah,
Swarup Damodar Goswami to hear first. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.96.
স্বরূপের অনুমোদন বা পরীক্ষা উত্তরান্তে প্রভুর অনুগ্রহ লাভ। স্বরূপ ঠাই উত্তরে যদি লয় তার মন, তবে মহাপ্রভু ঠাই করায় শ্রবণ।
If passed by Swarup Damodar Goswami, it could be presented for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to hear.
this was the standard process which had to be followed.
So this was the standard process which had to be followed. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.97.
ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত বাণীর বিরোধই মহাবদান্য প্রভুর ক্রোধের একমাত্র কারণ। রসাভাস হয় যদি সিদ্ধান্ত বিরোধ, সহিতে না পারে প্রভু মনে হয় ক্রোধ।
If there were any hint that transcendental mellows overlapped in a manner contrary to the principle of the Bhakti cult, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not tolerate it and would become very angry. Purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes the following definition of Rasa Abhasa from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Uttara Vibhaga, 9th wave, 1 to 3, 38, 38 and 41. 33 and 41. A mellow temporarily appearing transcendental but contradicting mellows previously stated and lacking of a mellow's necessity is called Rasa Abhasa, an overlapping mellow, by advanced devotees who know how to taste transcendental mellows. Such mellows are called Uparasa, sub-mellows, Anurasa, imitation transcendental mellow, and Aparasa, opposing transcendental mellow. Thus, the overlapping of transcendental mellows is described as being first grade, second grade, and third grade. And the 12 mellows such as neutrality, servitorship, and friendship are characterized by adverse sthai bhav, vibhav, and anubhav ecstasies. They are known as uparas sub-mellows. When the 7 indirect transcendental mellows are dried up, mellow of neutrality are produced by devotees and moods not directly related to Krishna, and devotional service in ecstatic love, they are described as anuras, imitation mellows. If Krishna and the enemies who harbor feelings of opposition toward him are respectively the object and abodes of the mellow of laughter, the resulting feelings are called aparas, opposing mellows. Experts in distinguishing one mellow from another sometimes accept some overlapping transcendental mellows, rasa bhasa, as rasas due to their being pleasurable and tasteful. Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, Paraspara Vairayor Yadi Yogas Tadha Rasa Bhasa. When two opposing transcendental mellows overlap, they produce rasa bhas, or an overlapping of transcendental mellows.
So, the emotions of bhakti is a great sign.
So the emotion of bhakti is a great sign.
Some mellows are not compatible with other mellows.
Certain mellows are not compatible with another mellows.
And they produce rasabhas.
They produce rasa bhas.
So those who are experienced in the science,
So those who are experienced in the science,
they can recognize what is a rasabhas and what is not.
they can recognize what is a rasa bhas and what is not.
So Sudhamana Goswami is such an expert.
So Swarup Goswami was such an expert.
Other than not recognize the Rasavas.
Others may not recognize the Rasavas. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 5.98.
অতএব প্রভু কিছু আগে নাহি শুনে, এই মর্যাদা প্রভু করি আছে নিয়মে।
Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not hear anything before Sarup Damodar heard it first. The Lord made this etiquette a regulative principle.
This was way Mahaprabhu was protected from hearing Rasavas.
So this was the way that Mahaprabhu was protected from hearing Rasavas. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 5.99.
স্বরূপ সমীপে ভগবান আচার্যের প্রাকৃত কবির কাব্য প্রশংসাপূর্বক নিবেদন। স্বরূপে ঠাই আচার্য কইলা নিবেদন, এক বিপ্র প্রভু নাটক করিয়াছে উত্তম।
Bhagavan Acharya submitted to Swarup Damodar Goswami. A good Brahmana has prepared a drama about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that appears exceptionally well composed.
Bhagavan Acharya recommended this drama
So Bhagavan Acharya was recommending this drama
to Sudhamana to hear.
to Swarup Damodar to hear.
That in the class by Sudhamana to be spoken to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
If it is passed by Swarup Damodar, then it could be spoken to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 5.100.
আদৌ তুমি শোনো যদি তোমার মন মানে, পাছে মহাপ্রভুরে তবে করাইমু শ্রবণে।
First, you hear it, and if it is acceptable to your mind, I shall request Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to hear it. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 5.101.
কৃষ্ণ তত্ত্ববিদ শ্রেষ্ঠ অন্তর্যামী স্বরূপ কর্তৃক ভগবান আচার্যকে ভৎসনা। স্বরূপ কয়ে তুমি গো পরম উদার, যে সে শাস্ত্র শুনিতে ইচ্ছা উপজে তোমার।
Swarup Damodar Goswami replied, Dear Bhagavan Acharya, you are a very liberal cowherd boy. Sometimes the desire awakens within you to hear any kind of poetry.
Sudhamana Goswami is chastising Bhagavan.
So Swarup Damodar Goswami is chastising Bhagavan Acharya. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 5.102.
গৌর কৃষ্ণের অপ্রীতির একমাত্র হেতু নির্দেশ। তদা যদা তদা কবির বাক্যে হয় রসাভাস, সিদ্ধান্ত বিরুদ্ধ শুনিতে না হয় উল্লাস।
In the writings of so-called poets, there is generally a possibility of overlapping transcendental mellows. When the mellows thus go against the conclusive understanding, no one likes to hear such poetry. Report by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jatva Tattva Kavi refers to anyone who writes poetry without knowledge of how to do so. Writing poetry, especially poetry concerning the Vaishnava conclusion, is very difficult. If one writes poetry without proper knowledge, there is every possibility that the mellows will overlap. When this occurs, No learned or advanced Vaishnava will like to hear it.
This is the standard that Swarup Damodar would apply.
So, this is the standard that Swarup Damodar would apply.
Only a very advanced devotee
Only a very advanced devotee
can recognize
can recognize
one of the laws
Rasa Abhas
or something
for something
that's against the Vaishnava conclusions.
that goes against the Vaishnava conclusion. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.103.
রসরসাভাস যার নাহিক বিচার ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত সিন্ধু নাহি পায় পার।
So-called poet who has no knowledge of transcendental mellows and overlapping of transcendental mellows cannot cross the ocean of the conclusions of devotional service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.104-105.
বেকার নাহি জানে না জানে অলঙ্কার নাটক অলঙ্কার জ্ঞান নাহিক যাহার কৃষ্ণ লীলা বর্ণিতে না জানে সেই সার বিশেষ দুর্গম এই চৈতন্য বিহার।
Poet who does not know the grammatical regulative principles, who is unfamiliar with metaphorical ornaments, especially those employed in drama, and who does not know how to present the pastimes of Lord Krishna is condemned. Moreover, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are especially difficult to understand.
So Damodar, the song is explaining the difficulties in either about Krishna or about Lord Chaitanya.
Swarup Goswami, Swarup Damodar is explaining the difficulties in writing the poetry about Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.106.
গৌরগত প্রাণ কৃষ্ণ ভক্তেরই গৌরলীলা বর্ণনে অধিকার। কৃষ্ণলীলা গৌরলীলা সে করে বর্ণন গৌর পাদ পদ্ম যার হয় প্রাণধন।
One who has accepted the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his life and soul can describe the pastimes of Lord Krishna or the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
This qualification is described by Swarup Damodar Goswami.
So this qualification is described by Swarup Damodar Goswami.
One should accept the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya
That one should accept the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya
Mahaprabhu
Mahaprabhu
as his very life
as his very life and
and soul.
soul. Hari Bol. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 5.107.
কৃষ্ণ সুখ তাৎপর্য রহিত প্রাকৃত কবির বহিরঙ্গত্ব কৃষ্ণ সুখ তৎপর অপ্রাকৃত কবির অন্তরঙ্গ। গ্রাম্য কবির কবিত্ব শুনিতে হয় দুঃখ বিদগ্ধ আত্মীয় বাক্য শুনিতে হয় সুখ।
Hearing the poetry of a person who has no transcendental knowledge and who writes about the relationship between man and woman simply causes unhappiness, whereas hearing the words of a devotee fully absorbed in ecstatic love causes great happiness. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Drame Kavi refers to a poet or writer such as the authors of novels and other fiction who write only about the relationship between man and woman. Vidakta Atmiya Vakya, however, refers to words written by a devotee who fully understand pure devotional service. Such persons who follow the parampara system are sometimes described as Sajati Yashaya Snigdha, or pleasing to the same class of people. Only the poetry and other writings of such devotees are accepted with great happiness by devotees.
Being a good poet is not a qualification.
So, being a good poet is not the qualification.
Qualification is having deeply absorbed in the transcendental ecstasy of devotional service.
Qualification is having deeply absorbed in the transcendental ecstasy of devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila 5.108.
অপ্রাকৃত কবি শিরোমণি শ্রীরূপের উদাহরণ। রূপ জৈসে দুই নাটক করিয়াছে আরম্ভে, শুনিতে আনন্দ বারে যার মুখবন্ধে।
The standard for writing dramas has been set by Rupa Goswami. If a devotee hears the introductory portions of his two dramas, they enhance his transcendental pleasure.
Dramas of Rupa Goswami were previously presented.
The dramas of Rupa Goswami were previously presented.
Those have been praised by Sudhamara Goswami as standard.
Those are being praised by Swarup Goswami as the standard.
They enhance devotees' transcendental bliss.
They enhance the devotee's transcendental bliss. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila 5.109.
তথাপি ভগবান আচার্যের নিবন্ধ। ভগবান আচার্য কহে শোনো একবার, তুমি শুনিলে ভালো মন্দ জানিবে বিচার।
Despite the explanation of Swarup Damodar, Bhagavan Acharya requests us, please hear the drama once. If you hear it, you can consider whether it is good or bad.
Although Sudhamara Goswami has explained
Although Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami has explained
the standard,
the standard,
Bhagavan Acharya requested him to hear once.
Bhagavan Acharya requested him to hear once. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antalila 5.110.
বন্ধু আচার্যের নিবন্ধ হেতু শ্রী স্বরূপের শ্রবণ ইচ্ছা। 2-3 দিন আচার্য আগ্রহ করিল, তার আগ্রহে স্বরূপের শুনিতে ইচ্ছা হইল।
For the 2 or 3 days, Bhagavan Acharya continually asked Swarup Damodar Goswami to hear the poetry. Because of his repeated requests, Swarup Goswami wanted to hear the poetry written by the Brahmana from Bengal.
Bhagavan Acharya thought the poetry was good.
So Bhagavan Acharya thought the poetry was good.
So he repeatedly requested Sudhamara Goswami
So he repeatedly requested Swarup Damodar Goswami to hear.
and although he stuck friendship with Sudhamara Bhagavan Acharya,
So out of respect and friendship with Bhagavan Acharya,
Sudhamara Goswami agreed to hear it.
Swarup Damodar Goswami agreed to hear. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 5.111.
স্বরূপ সমীপে কবির নান্দি শ্লোক পঠন। সবালইয়া স্বরূপ গোসাই শুনিতে বসিলা, তবে সেই কবি নান্দি শ্লোক পড়িলা।
Swarup Damodar Goswami sat down with other devotees to hear the poetry, and then the poet began to read the introductory verse.
So Damodar Goswami and all the devotees are going to listen to the drama
So Swarup Damodar Goswami and the other devotees are going to listen to the drama,
and give his opinion.
and he will give his opinion. Thus ends the chapter entitled The Poet Reads His Poetry about Lord Chaitanya to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Under the section How Pradyumna Mishra received instruction from Ramananda Rai.
Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.